Hi. I finally got 2 pages done in chapter 8, and I will be moving on to chapter 9 as soon as I'm done streaming today. Um, Hopefully I can get to page 70 today. I don't know because I think I'm just about to start page 60, but hopefully I can get all that done. This is a part of the story that I know pretty well. So, um, it's a part of the story that I know pretty well. So I think I'll be able to get it done, no problem. Yesterday I was having a problem because this one sentence did not sound right, but I didn't know how to resound it, so it did sound right. I didn't know how to rewrite it, so it sounded better. So I just left it, but maybe I'll listen to it one time and be like, "Oh, that's how you fix it." And then I'll fix the written version, and the audio version will still sound wrong, but until I fix it. Um anyway, I think I'm doing pretty good on this one. So I don't know how long I'm going to be on here because um I want to be able to go on Dreamlight Valley um in a little bit here. I want to be out here for like a half an hour, and then I want to be able to go on Dreamlight Valley and do that because I was trying to do a um y- you get in-game points for um in in in-game points that are called Dreamlight if you get um gems given to you by a companion. So I was trying to get that one done so I could get the Dreamlight and have the achievement done. That was the most important thing to me is getting the achievement done. Um, but getting the Dreamlight is very important too because I'm trying to um level up a bunch of my chests because it costs less to build them as a small chest, and then over time, you can get the amount of Dreamlight that you need to make them a medium and then large chest. It sounds backwards to certain people, but if you can build it for less, if you can get it for less and don't need that. I mean, I need all the large chests I can get, but if you don't need the large chest at the moment, you can get by with the small chest, and then when you have the Dreamlight, upgrade it. Why not do that? Because it's a lot cheaper to build it. You don't have to have the 5,000 Dreamlight to build a small chest. But other people don't see it that way. They see it as just a big waste of time. Just get the large chests if you're going to get chests. And it's like, well, yeah, but you got to use Dreamlight for it anyway. So I'd rather have the chest in place than not. That was weird. I hope I did that. 'Cause you got floating trees one day and you could have um you got floating trees one day and you could have corrupted file the next. So God willing that will not happen. That's why you know what? I think I'm gonna start doing a once a week um roller coaster ride through the whole thing. And we used to have the roller coaster go through the high school. Um, like most days, you will not see this on the other file because it's not there to be seen. Because the not because it's not there to be seen. It's definitely there to be seen. Maybe not all the details. I don't think I have baseball diamonds and basketball courts and numbers and um, numbers to sit on and stuff like that. But um, and I don't think I had the swimming pool either. But I don't know. Maybe I did and maybe I didn't. Ooh, we're gonna have to go over to the other file. Although the other file where I think the original file we were trained to fireworks. Um it's supposed to be it's supposed to be to where there's like we haven't worked on that, so it may just go to a certain spot and that's the end of the fireworks. Um, or I'm gonna be like working on it hard and heavy. I think I'm gonna take out some of the firework thingies because they don't quite work right, or you can't see them from the angle that they're at, you know? So, like, maybe get to an intersection and have it there instead of the end of the street. Kind of makes more sense. But I haven't worked on that in a while. So maybe, okay, if I can get some more of, at least 25 more of the gems from see, I had a combination of um Gaston, R2D2, um my uh I don't know he's like the nightmare squirrel. I don't remember what they called him, but I named him Spooky. Um and uh mining in the Vitalist mines, and that seemed to work really well. Seemed to work really well to get that goal done. So if I can at least get 25 more today, that'd be great. I've got like 253. So if I can get 25 more, then that will um, get me to over 75, over 275. And then, like if I get a page goal done, like maybe I get super inspired, I'm not distracted, and I can just get it done. I could probably get 10 pages done today, is what I'm trying to say. Beyond the two that I already got. But I don't know. That might be putting too much on my plate, you know. But I'm gonna try. And I've got to make. I think I'm gonna go and take my phone with me and go for a walk. And hope that there's no ice under the snow. Well, that would be a distraction, wouldn't it? Anyway, oh, and I made one more video. I forgot about that. I made a video when it was still a little bit dark outside, but I made a video. It was, um, we got a truck that's new to us. Um, Probably told you about that. I'm really excited about it. I love it. Um, it's got a screen. It lowers, for short people, or like if you're trying to get groceries in the back of your truck. Anyway, it lowers, and um, it's a really nice truck. The back seat can even be comfortable. You know, um, not entirely comfortable, but that's just because like the back seat doesn't recline. So, it's probably my back. I've got scoliosis. It's not one of those things that it like bugs me that much anymore. Like I don't have like days when it hurts so bad I don't want to move, and I don't have days like that. Um like it feels uncomfortable sometimes. Like, well, if I go over to my mother-in-law's it does. But it's not like there on one of the Got Talent shows there was a girl and she was going to go in for surgery because she had scoliosis. So, hers was obviously worse than mine, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. Because I don't know what that really does. For me, um, if I'm sitting in the wrong chair, because like right now I'm sitting in my recliner, um, but I've got one of those recliners that if you need it to, you can um, press the button, assuming you can reach it, but you can press the button and get it to uh, raise up so it helps you out. Because I was really afraid, what if I'm sitting in my chair, I need to go upstairs, and my back's sore and I cannot get up, So I'm like, I want a chair like my grandpa. And my husband made it happen. So that was before we moved in here. We used to live in this tiny little apartment. Like the whole thing was the whole thing might have been as big as our living room right now. We don't have the biggest living room, but we don't have the smallest either. And like one of the first things that I would do, like if disaster happened and my in-laws were suddenly no longer with us, which we're a little worried about my husband's cousin because he's having to go in for heart surgery. And I seriously thought that if anybody was going to be needing to go in for heart surgery, that would be my husband's uncle. Because last time we saw him in a picture, he didn't look like he was doing so hot. um, but maybe he just doesn't age well, I don't know. But his cousin's going in for heart surgery, and if I have any prayers in my uh they're watching this right now, please pray for him. Although you may not see it until after the surgery, I don't know. um, but yeah, we're hoping goodness. We're hoping for a good outcome, that he's still with us afterwards, and you know, um, that he'll be with us for uh, a lot more years because, well, because he's a person, you know. I mean, not just because he's family, but because he's a person, you know. Um, I barely know him. I've talked to him like maybe twice, I think. Um, and uh, okay, so I think my Alaska niece was born in she was about 2 in 2000. So I think she was born in like 1998, 1999, something like that. Um, it no, she wasn't 2. She was younger than that. Okay, I don't know how old she was. She was learning to walk. That I know. Because they had her in the hallway, and they had all the doors shut, and they had all the doors shut, and they put a baby gate at the end of the hall, and so that was her, quote unquote playpen. So I think she was like 1, so maybe 99. Anyway, what was my point to all that? Oh, um, so anyway, my sister-in-law who lives in Alaska now, that's why that's my Alaska niece. She must have gotten married, like a year or two before. Anyway, so she came down for my husband's high school graduation, and anyway, at their wedding, I may have talked to our cousin, and um, and I assume I think we did um talk to him at uh either his mom's funeral or um grandma, or grandma's funeral. My husband's grandma. So that was like, 2014 or 15 or 16, something like that. It was a while ago. Um, I'm upset because we didn't get to go to my grandparents' funeral, and then when we could have, I didn't know how close it was either, and that makes me even more upset about it. But um, so the 4th of February was my grandpa Sjogren's birthday, and the 10th of February is my dad's birthday, but also coincidentally my grandma Sjogren's birthday. So I thought that was really cool that their birthday was on the same day. But then it made it hard because I wanted to be at grandma's birthday party and I wanted to be at dad's birthday party. um, I mean, the birthday celebration for each of them, and it's like, what do we do? I don't know how, but I think I worked it out every single time. Like we had grandma's, um, like we had a thing for grandma in the afternoon, and we had a thing for Dad, at night, maybe. Or I knew that Grandma was gonna celebrate hers on her birthday, and bless you, and and Dad was gonna celebrate his on the weekend because it was easier that way. Because unless you're working retail or maybe in a restaurant, you could have weekends off. So like the kids had weekends off. I think a lot of the grown-ups had weekends off. Okay. I was really confused there for a moment. Anyway, so I think I'm going to stop this at 10:30, and then I'm going to do Dreamlight Valley for half an hour. Somewhere in there, I the problem with doing Dreamlight Valley though is that I'm gonna want to do that until I get 25. Um, until I get 25, and if that takes until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm gonna do that until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, I don't want to do that, so hopefully it won't take that long. Um, but like I said, it was the Vitalist Mines with my mining squirrel, Spooky. He's the one with the black and purple mist around him. Um, or he's black and the mist is purple, something like that. Anyway, I don't remember what you call them, but they're like the nightmare version of, and then the pink ones are the whimsical. But I don't know the blue ones because I don't have those yet. Because I think I had the opportunity to get both at one point, and we don't have the money to be buying moonstones all the time, so um, that's what we ended up doing. Uh, is getting the pink ones. Um, so the part of the book that we're at right now is Sean and Ashley have gotten arrested with the biker gang. And Sean's like, "Why did I get arrested? I wasn't with them." And uh, Jeremy explains that that was an accident, but he also did it so Sean wouldn't get his butt kicked. Um, they meant to just stop stop the fight before it got started, but they meant to stop the fight before it got started, but it Sean ended up getting taken too. So so Sean kind of explains what's been happening the last few days in a very loud voice. He's kind of angry about the situation, and I haven't gotten much further than that, or I don't think I've gotten further than that. I know what's going to happen, but I really want, when it's done, of course, I really want y'all to, buy the book, read the book, and find out what happens for yourself. See, I can't do audiobooks right now because I don't know if I actually have the license. It said I was supposed to, and then there's no evidence of it. So I don't know. And there's parts where like the digital voice, it's like an oh but what? and then finally says what it's supposed to say. And the only way to fix that is to just re-record it. So, like, I would end up doing certain chapters over again, or like the Esperanza's party, I think it is. It I think it's Esperanza's party and the island where I wasn't using Jocelyn's voice to do the narrator. I may go and redo this all at some point in time and use the Canadian voice actually, because she speaks nice and clearly. And hold on, bless you. We got a sneezy kitty. The last kitty that we had that sneezed this much is no longer with us. So I really want to be able to okay, I'm going to segue right now into about my books, because you know, we need more money in the house so I can help out with the bills. And I do not seem to be having any good luck getting a job outside the house and keeping it. Well, I haven't been able to get a job in a very long time. And I think that's because Walmart's been saying she yelled at one of our managers, and that's not true. I did not do that. Nobody even bothers to ask me. They just assume that I'm a disgruntled employee, and I am. But, you know, I'll be the first to admit I am a disgruntled ex-employee, which is what I meant. I'm a disgruntled ex-employee. You should never give the, we'll call him a shift leader. That's what it would be if it was a restaurant. Or in Walmart's case, the team lead, the ability to fire people. That's not okay. Especially since, she didn't even do it right. You're supposed to be called into the office and say, look, you did something wrong. We're going to have to let you go. You're supposed to do that. And that's all I was asking. At that time, I was just like, I was so mad about the situation. I mean, she didn't even tell me I was fired. She just, sent me home, and that was it. And they'd done that before, because I was just having too much attitude that day. I think it was warranted at the time because I was just trying to ask for my break or my lunch or somebody else's break or somebody else's lunch. Like, I'm pretty sure one day I was like, excuse me, I'm going to call her Sharon. That's not her name. But that was the first name that popped into my head. I was like, excuse me, Sharon needs to go to the bathroom. Sharon's like, I know that we did have Sharon at one point. But anyway, Sharon's like 70 years old. Maybe only 60, but I think she was like 70 years old. And, when you're 70 years old, when you have to go to the bathroom, you need to go to the bathroom. And she hadn't been able to go to the bathroom for, I don't know how long. And then she finally just went, and they were yelling at her about that. It's like, excuse me, human necessity. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got myself started on that evil place again. Actually, it's not the place. It's just the people who run it. Because, Uncle Sam, in America, Uncle Sam, the government, I know you're probably saying it's President Donald Trump, but there's a fictional person called, well, I think he's fictional anyway, fictional person called Uncle Sam, and Like, they were always saying that Uncle Sam wants you to join the military and be a good citizen and all this stuff. And um I totally forget what the point of Uncle Sam was, but I well, I know it was um like Uncle Sam wants you, for the military, but I can't remember what his other purpose was. But anyway, the thing is that the government gives you two breaks for 15 minutes. 15, not 10, 15. And one lunch. Um, it's up to the company whether it's a half an hour or an hour. And at Walmart, that is the one good thing that they do. They totally abuse you for hopefully only 4 hours. And then you get an hour lunch. It's not like McDonald's where they have you standing on your feet for. Usually you stand on your feet for 2 hours, you sit down for 15 minutes, you stand on your feet for 2 hours, you get your lunch. That's how it's supposed to go. And then you stand on your feet for 2 hours, you get your 15, and then you stand on your feet for 2 hours, and then you get to go home. I don't think I'm really cut out for that anymore, but yeah. And I cannot do restaurants because my hair just goes everywhere. It's like cat fur. I don't know if dog fur is the same way because we had a miniature schnauzer and her fur didn't seem to go all over the place. I'm sure it was there, but it didn't seem to go all over the place like these three. What? Hi. You're not the one who was meowing. Or at least I don't think it was. Unless you're throwing your voice again. So, Sam, when we first got him, he totally sounded like a Tribble on Star Trek. Then now it's a full actual meow. Um, I think he probably learned from Ben. Even though Ben's usually pretty quiet. Okay. Got 9 minutes. So, but now it's, a nice full meow. Every day he meows at me to make sure that the food in their bowl is filled, and I go and make sure Bobby's is at the same time. Uh, they would normally have two bowls totally two of those perpetual feeders. They're gravity feeders. They're supposed to have gravity in them. The ones in Walmart do not. They just don't. I think even Bobby's doesn't. The food, a little bit of the food falls down, but it's kind of like those pianos that they have for cats. Um, I think somebody was using it for their dog too, but they've got pianos for cats, and it gives them treats. Um, yeah, what was my point of that? I started thinking of I started thinking of, maybe a future cat because I don't think I can teach these guys to play the piano. I started thinking of a future cat and taking the cat on America's Got Talent, and like they're able to do da 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 da. That'd be so cool. Like how some keyboards they light up. Um, I would want to um I don't know what just happened. It's like it lost connection and then it just, you know, said I ain't talking to it and I'm dead and turned off. Yeah, so I don't get it. I will be right back. I need to go upstairs. Okay, sorry about that. Then she starts a different project. One more. Okay. Okay, not with the asterisk. Thank you. So for this time, I'm going to put games I like to play. Hold on.
Boys, be nice. Let's go out there. I'm going to be very mad.
Thank you. So my cats like to argue sometimes, and I end up having to go upstairs and break it up. Not like the scary fights that you see, the stereotypical ones where the one cat's feeling threatened, so they, claws and teeth, and it's like snarling and all that stuff. Not that kind. Just sometimes Sam goes with the "I'm gonna bite you now." Like I could understand if he'd seen dinosaurs, the TV show. Hold on. What are you doing? Better question. Why was that on the floor so you could mess with it? That didn't work. There. So me and my husband have bad knees. So you know what? I'll just leave that on. We both have bad knees, so I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna yell at him for leaving stuff on the floor, but Ben don't need to be messing with it. Okay. Yeah, so we need to get off of here. Um so again, I think I'm not entirely sure, maybe I didn't say it in this video, but my books are available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. They are The Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 1 Pirate's Daughter, The Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 2 Hard Time Misfortune. The Beginnings The Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 3 Hard Times. Um The Rolling Sea Traitor Book 1 Esperanza's Party, The Rolling Sea Traitor Book 2 The Island, The Rolling Sea Traitor Book 3 Lessons in Love, and then a separate series which is called Adopted, and the first book is Quarrel. So maybe it ought to be Adopted Book 1 Quarrel. Nah. I'll just, keep it the way it is, where it's where it's adopted, and then there's a colon, which is those two, basically it's two periods, one on top of another. And Coral, and then the next one will be Ben, the next one will be Sam, etc., etc. Yeah. It's kind of okay, so I didn't know how to get the correct colors in Coral's book. So I didn't press the right button, the correct button. But it's kind of okay that it's that, because Coral did pass away last year. So, like, it just seems appropriate. But with Ben's book, if I have to go and talk to somebody at Amazon and go, okay, what button do I press again? All I need. If I have to go and do that, then that's what I'll do. I want to make sure it's a color. I want to make sure it's a color picture. A lot of photography things go and tell you if you can come up with a picture that is totally in color but looks like it's black and white, that's like one of the most awesome uh pictures you can come up with. But that's not what I was going for with Coral's book. Anyway, so if you can all go on Amazon and check out my books and maybe buy one, I would very much appreciate it, because like I said, I hate to put that burden on y'all, but I need the money, and it's always been my dream to be a published author and uh, and make money doing that. Especially since I don't seem to be able to make money, with a regular job. You know, um, there's some very nice goals that I would like to be able to do with that. Um, First of all, I would like to be able to help out with the household bills. And then second of all, I would like to be able to help out those less fortunate than me. Like, there's a bunch of homeless people in Reno, and, like, maybe, you know, may, maybe it's they've got the job and everything, but they can't afford that double payment that you need to have to get into an apartment. So I'd be willing to help them out with that. Um, if the food bank is still going to be a thing, because I don't know if it is or not, but if the food bank is still going to be a thing, I would very much like to help them have safe to eat food in there. Because half the time it's expired already and they don't even care. They just give it away to people, and it's I think the worst one that I ever saw is a thing of Tic Tacs at Walmart when I first started. It was January 2019 when I started at Walmart on the 17th, by the way. I'm just saying that. That just happens to be that just happens to be what happened. It was January 17th of 2019, and it just happens to be the 17th today. um anyway, I saw a thing of Tic Tacs. It was either from 2011 or 2001. I can't remember which, but it was a old thing of Tic Tacs. I mean, I don't know if Tic Tacs really, um, really go stale, but, um, I don't know if Tic Tacs really go stale, but they did have a date on there, and that was not safe. Those were supposed to be pulled off the shelf a long time ago. So I started checking the dates on things, and um, a lot of the times the customer was like, "Thank you, I didn't even think of that." And then sometimes the customer's like, "I did not ask you to do that." And it's like, "I'm sorry, I want to make sure that you've got a safe candy bar to eat." Actually, I don't even know if I apologized. Because, excuse me, if I can save you from food poisoning, I'm going to do that. you know? If I can, if I can do something to make sure that you don't get sick and you don't have to stay home from work, unless that's your goal. And then I understand why you got upset with me. But but most people can't afford to just have a sick day like that. So um anyway, there's that. And then after that, I want to say, I want to save some aside, of course, but I also want to be able to do some giveaways. Like at Christmas time, have, plushy, plushy ornaments. That they're going to be little pillows, and they're going to have um, a ribbon, or maybe a stretchy ribbon, kind of like a hair tie. Um, not a hair tie, but stretchy like a hair tie. Have something like that on them so they can go on the Christmas tree. but it's like a little pillow, and it was like 4 by 4. It wasn't very big. Um, and it would have a picture of maybe have a picture of one of my cats on one side and a picture of my book on the other. I don't know. I hadn't thought that far ahead. I definitely want to put a picture of one of my books on there, but I don't know if I'd want to do the cats separate or together, you know? Um, Maybe separate. Um, anyway, I could do something like that for Christmas time. And then have little heart plushies for Valentine's. But I don't know what kind of giveaway I would do. I mean, like what kind of contest I would do to do the giveaway. I haven't thought of that yet. Um, if you got any ideas, please share them. Because I don't know why, but when I'm thinking about stuff, I'm thinking I'm kind of thinking of trivia. I'm kind of thinking, for some reason, Pin the Tail on the Donkey keeps popping into my head. That doesn't apply here. It just doesn't. You can't, as far as I know, you cannot do Pin the Tail on the Donkey over the internet. um, I don't know. Um, so if you are watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. And if you are watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and please get those valid public watch hours up. And as soon as we're done with this level here, because notice some of the trees over there are the same level, we will end the stream and I'll see you in the next stream or video. I think that I'm going to stop for lunch and then go on Dreamlight Valley, because it does say that I'm supposed to be streaming until noon, but streaming for 4 hours without eating is probably a no-no, especially for me, and especially at this time. There's a reason, and I'm not pregnant. just so everybody knows. Okay, wait a minute. Was that the whole? Yeah, that's the whole level. Okay. So I will go over here, and I will sit here. Well, that's okay. I will sit here. Yeah, there's grass underneath me now. Not that. What I was trying to do is, yeah, okay. My character's over the grass. I'm good. Okay, I will see you in the next stream or video.